The following program is intended for mature audiences.
I mean, call me a pessimist, but I don't really see this year lasting more than 12 months.
Have you ever thought about how hard it would be to throw away a garbage can?
Well, some are born great, others have greatness thrust upon them. That's nasty.
Holy smoke.
Woo!
This is Hang'em Prison, home to some of the most ruthless, violent, deadly, and politically incorrect prisoners in the United States today. Inmates here must follow a strict set of rules or face dire consequences, including hours of manual labor, solitary confinement, or time out in the naughty chair. The prison is run by Warden Warren Wesley Warburn, a man who has come under scrutiny by many who view his methods of running the facility as harsh and unjust to the prisoners. Do you agree with your critics who think your approach to prisoner rehabilitation is overtly ruthless?
What do you mean by that, boy?
Well, you have something of a reputation that you're the type of warden who likes to lock up prisoners and throw away the key.
Throw away the key? That's bullpocket, boy. You know how expensive those keys are?
The rules here are very simple. No talking after lights out. No wasting food. No take-backsies after a Pokemon trade. And no trying to escape. Let me be clear. Do not piss me off. Are you eyeballing me, boy? Are you eyeballing me? Did you say something, boy? That'd be a lesson to you. Mime is a terrible thing to waste.
Of course, more infamous than the prison itself are the dozens of inmates who have called Hang'em home throughout the years. Prisoners like the psychotic Charles Stanson, leader of a notorious cult and imprisoned here since the 1970s. Robert Strange, the infamous Birdman of Hang'em. The notorious Bonnie and Clyde, and of course Babyface Nelson. Perhaps the most notorious of all, however, is David the Snowman Babinski, a former mafia hitman who lent his deadly services to the highest bidder. Many believed Babinski acquired his frosty nickname from his cold-blooded and icy demeanor. But in our exclusive interview, David tells us the real reason he's called the Snowman.
I got wicked bad dandruff.
Babinski grew up on the streets of New Jersey and began his life of crime working for mafia kingpin Vinny the Pooh Ravioli. His family never suspected his life of crime, believing him to be an average, ordinary, hard-working car salesman. By the mid-1980s, Babinski was involved in narcotics, pornography, arms dealing, money laundering, hijacking, and contract killing. But we all need hobbies. Now, you've been labelled by prison psychologists as an antisocial, sociopathic Looney Tune with really bad hair. Just so I can attempt to understand the way your mind works, and because it will help provide terrific ratings, tell me about your most brutal murder. I got in a car, I drove to the bar, wasn't that far, and then I beat him to death with a guitar. You beat him with a guitar?
And then I made him eat his own throat. Is there anyone you regret killing? Maybe my mother. You killed your own mother? Mm-hmm. She was always making my oatmeal just a little too runny. But, I shouldn't have killed her like that.
Clearly, some sort of conscience could be found somewhere under that cold, deadly exterior.
I should have killed that broad a little more slowly. Tie her to a tree, cover her with honey, and let the ants devour her. Let's say you had chosen a different profession. What would you have done? Always thought I would have made a decent comedian. Bet that surprises you.
Not really, most comedians are loonies.
Yeah, well...
Can you tell us a joke?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Your
Who?
Your mother.
Come with us now, as our cameras were granted exclusive access inside this notorious prison.
Ready. Aim.
It's not just the men who are imprisoned for their crimes. On the other side of Hangamore Prison we find the women's quarters. But don't be fooled into thinking this area is any less dangerous or threatening. For these women can prove they are just as feminine as the men. I spoke to inmate Sugar the Strangler Blossom.
Good afternoon, Miss Blossom.
Oh, now ain't you the cutest little thing I ever did see?
Well, I wouldn't say that.
And that accent, I could just bathe in it.
Miss Blossom.
Please. Call me Strangler Sugar.
Strangler Sugar. What's someone like you doing in a place like this?
Unfortunately, Honey Bear, I'm just another casualty of the tragedy that life endlessly and unmercilessly throws our direction. Desperate times can call for desperate measures, and I truly believe that anyone, no matter how pure of heart or how true of soul, is capable of committing the most heinous atrocities when presented with such dire occasions.
What happened?
My husband snored like a freight train, so I strangled him in his sleep. So I'm here merely as a victim of circumstance. You think I'm a bad girl, don't you, Honeycomb? A bad girl who needs to be punished.
What so far has been your biggest challenge adjusting to life in prison?
Oh, I would have to say the lack of male companionship and lack of privacy. Day in and day out, all I see are other women just exercising out in the yard under the hot sun, sweat dripping down their bodies, or lounging around the cell in their underthings. Women in the showers always trying to play games, splash around with water, and all I want to do is just relax and let the hot, soapy water run all over my body. It would be so heavenly to be wrapped in a man's arms once more. Get so lonely here at night, you know.
So the prison's policy on conjugal visits is what again?
Do you know what I'd do if I had you in my cell?
Do tell.
I'd take you in my arms and I'd squeeze on you a little bit, and I'd run my hands up your arms all the way up to your neck, and then I'd squeeze a little more, and then I'd start twisting, and then I'd twist a little more and squeeze until your head piped right off of your neck, and I'd catch you like a fish, boy!
I think I'm in love. And so the question remains, are criminals made or are they born? Is a flagrant disregard for law and order hereditary or environmental? Are the inmates here the real victims, whom the social burdens of our so-called civilized society have doomed to a life of crime and corruption? Or are they simply scuzzies who were dumb enough to get caught? One thing is for certain, crime does not pay. Unless, of course, you make a documentary about it, then it pays quite well indeed. And so, until next time...